You clicked on the video, so I'm guessing you wanted to check out my thoughts on the Target exclusive Legacy United Wheeljack. And boy, do I have some thoughts, so stay tuned. Transformers fans, I'm Mondo, and this is another Moonbase 84 transmission. And as I said in the intro, I'm reviewing the Origin Wheeljack. But before we jump in, I want to thank everyone who subscribed recently, and let's keep it going. And to do that, it's time for some YouTube begging. So please hit that like button, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'd greatly appreciate it. With that out of the way, let's check out Wheeljack. Sadly, because I couldn't get my hands on Origin Wheeljack myself, I want to quickly thank my buddy Shockwave, and not that Shockwave, the Shockwave's real, for loaning me his copy so I could check him out. So here's Origin Wheeljack in bot mode, which is obvious because he's not in alt mode, with all of his accessories stored on him. And my first impressions of him is it looks like he's been hitting the gym. He's a big, blocky guy for sure. And he definitely looks the part he's supposed to, meaning he looks like G1 Wheeljack, just chunkier. Now you can trim him down a bit by removing his shield/road accessory, like so. So that will trim him down a bit. And now he just looks like G1 Wheeljack carrying an oversized power pack or something. So that was my quick overview of Wheeljack, and now let's take a closer look. And as I said, moving up to start with the head, he looks like just a beefier G1 Wheeljack. I'm liking his head sculpt, the blue eyes. He's got some nice details, like on the shoulders that are getting lost. The white, the brighter white is the details in the brighter white are getting lost in my camera, unfortunately, and then the nice grays. And then, like I said, huge blocky boots. And then I know he's very contentious among the fan base, and that's because of all this kibble and blockiness, particularly the back, his backpack, which is massive. And then here's his little blade rotor things he uses in the episode. Be careful, they pop out easy. He uses to put out the ring of fire that the Seekers put around him. But yeah, there's some detail back there too. And also he has a much better I don't know, shoulder cannon, shoulder gun than we got with the Kingdom Wheeljack, and that's removable. And you can also put that in his hand if his hand did not rotate on me. There you go. You can use it as a blaster. And then you can see some nice detail underneath his windscreen if the light doesn't wash it out amongst the light. For posability, his head will turn back and forth, look up a decent amount. He fell apart, not look down at all. A minuscule amount of tilt. His arm rotates, comes out, bicep, elbow, waist swivel, kicks forward, kicks back. Oh, I just disengaged his backpack. It doesn't stay in very well. Thigh swivel, nice knee bend. Ankle forward, ankle back, and some great pivot both ways. So I would say he articulates and poses very nicely indeed, especially considering all this junk on the back. I will say once again that this backpack does not stay plugged in as well as I would like it. It just plugs into his little wings here, and it pops off pretty easily. And I did mention that the fandom is kind of split with this Wheeljack release, and that is mostly due to his robot mode and all this chunkiness, especially the backpack, which is admittedly huge, and the chunky legs. But in hand, I gotta say, it really doesn't bother me too much. I mean, he is bigger and beefier, but the way I think of it as, of course, in the original cartoon, Bumblebee, in the first, especially that first episode, the Seekers, Bumblebee, Wheeljack, and Jazz, even though they transformed into Cybertronian modes, they always look like they did on Earth, and, you know, it was a different time. But to me, their Cybertronian modes would make their appearances, it would make sense if their appearances were a bit different on Cybertron due to the mode, especially Wheeljack, because he turns into a hovering van type thing, and of course on Earth he turns into a race car. So his look would change, I think, a bit, and it makes sense, as well as like all the other guys. So to me, this makes sense. Yes, it's blockier and everything. And the one thing I don't like when backpacks If they're big, that's one thing. They don't always bother me when they're big, but I hate when like there's a big gap between his like other part of his back and the backpack. If they could have found a way to collapse it closer, I would have liked that much better. But like, here we go. Here is Kingdom Wheeljack, and it's cool that they're roughly the same height. And to me, it makes sense. Floating Cybertron van to race car, so he trimmed down a bit because the van wouldn't be as big as the race car. And that's just my quick thoughts on that. So the robot mode to me doesn't really bother me as much as some fans, and I don't absolutely hate it like some fans do. Now I'm going to transform Wheeljack off camera, and we'll take a look at the main attraction for this release, which is his Cybertronian alt mode. And here we have Origin Wheeljack in alt mode, which is this release's main attraction. I already have, spoiler alert, I already have Bumblebee inside, Origin Bumblebee. Where'd they hit you? I think it's my rear axle. You can see him in there, which is pretty cool. And on the side, and of course, you can get him out of there by popping the top, flipping the ramp, and I want to say scooting him out, but he was a little tight. And now you got to collapse everything back in. Like, sometimes he tends to fall apart when you do that. So getting Origin Bumblebee in and out can be a little quirky, because when you pop the top of this, it makes the sides less stable, but nothing too crazy. I just decided to go ahead and line everything back up off camera. And there he is with Origin Bumblebee, and they look really cool together. And as I said, as far as his vehicle mode, it's a great representation of Wheeljack Cybertronian mode from that very first episode, way back in the day. We'll take a closer look. I love the panel work, the details. Again, it's getting lost in my lights. I'll try to get in the gray accents and the green. Really cool. You got that big front battering ram type bumper. Some nice details there. You get the top, again, that nice green stripe. Nice clear windows on the side. And that's the underneath, kind of pretty clean. You can see his head, not too bad. You can plug in the little rotors. I think they have a technical name, but I'm gonna say little rotors. You can be a little careful. They come off very easy. We can do that to recreate the scene. You take his shoulder gun slash pistol, plug that in on the top, like so. And you can take this piece and either configure it into a road, which I'm not really going to do, or you can do what most people do and collapse it like this. And how does it go on? And put it around him like so, and that forms the shield that he used when the Seekers were attacking him in the episode. For my final thoughts, I want to add that my buddy Shockwave, when he said, you know, borrow my Wheeljack to do a review, because sadly I couldn't get my hands on one, he said, I want you to tear this thing apart. So he doesn't like it that much. I mean, he loves the vehicle mode, but he hates that robot mode. And he wanted me to tear the robot mode apart. Sorry, Shock, I really can't do that, because I will admit, seeing pictures of the robot mode, I thought it was very ugly and just not for me. But having him in hand, he wasn't too bad, and I really actually like his robot mode. Yes, he has the giant backpack, but in hand it's not too bad, especially when you think about it the way I mentioned, considering that obviously in the G1 cartoon, when they have their Cybertron forms, they look exactly the same in bot mode as they do when they're on Earth. And to me, it would make sense for him to look a little different, and if he's a bigger vehicle, he'd be a little chunkier. Yes, the backpack is a little oversized, but I mentioned my thoughts. If you collapse it and made it a little bit closer to the other part of his back, it would look better. But to me, it's not terrible and atrocious. I know it's weird for me to say that, because a lot of times similar things, I think, but I think it just works well with Wheeljack. Is it perfect? No. But yeah, sadly, I can't trash the bot mode. I know other fans hate the bot mode, but me personally, I can't trash it. And the main attraction for this release anyway is the Cybertron alt mode, so you can complete the scene If I had Origins Jazz here, I'd put that, because I don't have any of the Origins figures. This was a loaner as well. But now having this in hand, now I really want the Origin Wheeljack, and I want the Origin B, and I want the Origin Jazz. So this opened up a can of worms. I was laying off on these guys, not because I hated them. I mean, this one didn't really pique my interest, Wheeljack, because of the pictures, but having him in hand now I do kind of want him. If I don't get him for my collection, it won't be the end of the world. I won't be thinking of it constantly. I need that Origin Wheeljack, but I would really like to add him to my collection sometime. With that being said, that'll about wrap it up. Let me know what you guys think. Do you love Origin Wheeljack, or do you hate him? I think it's pretty cool. You can put B inside him. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and most importantly, thanks for docking.